Welcome to Academic by Us, where marginalized histories are preserved and Black diaspora thought is amplified.
Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham, born Evelyn Brooks in 1945 in Washington, D.C., is one of the most influential historians of our time. Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham helped redefine African American history by centering the lives, leadership, and intellectual traditions of Black women in scholarly research. She viewed the writings of the Black historians who preceded her as a catalyst for her own work. When describing the early pioneers of Black history and Black studies, such as George Washington Williams, Anna Julia Cooper, Carter G. Woodson, Laura E. Wilkes, Delilah L. Beasley, and John Hope Franklin, Higginbotham explained that they understood knowledge as a form of resistance. It was a direct challenge to racism and the machinery of Jim Crow. For them, scholarship was not neutral. It was a weapon against distortion, erasure, and racial oppression. Today, we might say knowledge is also a form of resistance against misinformation, racism, and authoritarianism. Then and now, knowledge is power. Knowledge is a fight for truth. Higginbotham grew up in a family deeply rooted in Black institution building, faith, and political struggle. Her commitment to preserving Black history was not abstract, it was personal. Her great-grandfather, Albert Royal Brooks, was born into slavery. In 1867, he was selected to serve on the first racially integrated jury in Virginia. That jury was convened for the federal treason case against Jefferson Davis, President of the Confederacy. Although the trial never took place and the charges were eventually dropped, Brooks' selection was still historically significant. It represented a brief but powerful moment during the Reconstruction era when Black citizenship and participation in democracy seemed possible. His wife, Lucy Good Brooks, also formerly enslaved, helped found the Friends Asylum for Colored Orphans in Richmond in 1872, one of the first post-Civil War orphanages for Black children. Motivated in part by the trauma of family separation under slavery, she transformed pain into institution building. Higginbotham's grandfather, Walter Henderson Brooks, served for more than 60 years as pastor of 19th Street Baptist Church in Washington, D.C., the first independent Black Baptist church in the city. In 1896, that church became the birthplace of the National Association of Colored Women, founded by leaders such as Mary Church Terrell, Ida B. Wells Barnett, and Josephine St. Pierre Ruffin. Her aunt, Julia Brooks, helped incorporate Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, the first Black sorority in the United States. The family legacy of leadership, faith, and activism shaped Higginbotham's intellectual path. It grounded her understanding that Black history is not about oppression, it is about institution building, dignity, and organized resistance. Her late husband, Leon Higginbotham Jr. Judge Higginbotham was a distinguished federal judge and legal scholar. He served on the United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit and became nationally respected for his scholarship on race and law. His writings examine how legal systems both challenged and upheld racial inequality. Leon Higginbotham was even awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Bill Clinton, which is one of the highest civilian honors in the United States. Together, Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham and Leon Higginbotham Jr. represents a powerful intellectual partnership, one advancing justice through history, the other through law. In her acclaimed book Righteous Discontent, The Women's Movement in the Black Baptist Church, 1880s-1920, she centers working-class Black women who attended National Baptist conventions at the turn of the 20th century. Rather than portraying them as passive churchgoers, she reveals them as strategist organizers and, in some respects, early feminists. From these women's speeches, writings, and organizing efforts, Higginbotham identified two key strategies they used in their pursuit of racial uplift and social mobility: race consciousness and the politics of respectability. Race consciousness, as she describes it, meant that these women cultivated a positive racial identity while also being aware of how race impacted their lived experiences. They believed deeply in Black equality and saw themselves as representatives of the race. Their work was tied to collective uplift. The politics of respectability, a term introduced by Higginbotham and now widely used as respectability politics, describes how these Black women navigated and resisted racism within a society structured by white supremacy and patriarchy. She found that these women shifted between conservative and radical expressions of respectability politics, both to improve their social standing and to guard against further oppression. On the conservative side, many women promoted modest dress, moral discipline, and refined behavior. They believed that embodying respectability could counter racist stereotypes and help dismantle social barriers. Some also accepted male authority within the church structure, reflecting the gender norms of the time. At the same time, Higginbotham highlighted the radical dimensions of respectability politics. These women believed that Black people were inherently dignified, and they conducted themselves accordingly, not to gain white approval, but because dignity was intrinsic. In its radical form, respectability politics was not about appeasing white society. Rather, it involved mobilizing limited resources to build and sustain Black-owned institutions. These women demanded recognition of women's authority and labor within the church. They organized, spoke publicly, and shaped national agendas during National Baptist conventions. Their strategies were complex and adaptive. They were not simply conforming, they were negotiating power. By centering these women, Higginbotham reframed Black women not as peripheral figures, but as architects of political, religious, and social change. Beyond righteous discontent, her scholarly contributions are expansive. She co-edited the Harvard Guide to African American History. She worked with Henry Louis Gates Jr. to co-edit the 12-volume African American National Biography, documenting more than 6,000 Black lives across American history. She co-authored later editions of John Hope Franklin's foundational text From Slavery to Freedom. She also co-authored the African American Odyssey, one of the most widely used textbooks in African American history courses. Through these works, she has shaped generations of scholarship on race, gender, religion, and resistance. Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham reminds us that history is not simply about the past. It is about power, who gets remembered, who gets erased, and who controls the narrative.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram.
A Good View Education production.